Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Sharik Nazir. The topic that I have chosen for this assignment is how did Pakistan came into being. 1933 CE, the name Pakistan was first used in a political pamphlet called Now or Never. A Cambridge University student, Chaudhry Rahmat Ali, came up with the name. Historical importance of Pakistan. Conquerors from around the world arrived here, conquered and crafted their empires out of this region. Along with them, they brought their cultures, religious beliefs, traditions, which filled this region with diversity of religions and social values. The Indus Valley Civilization. In about 3000 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization started to form in Pakistan. This civilization dominated the region until 1300 BCE. In about 1500 BC, Aryans started to migrate into the region. Decline of Indus Valley Civilization started and Vedic civilization was formed and early sacred texts of Hindu religion were composed. The Persian Empire. In about 500 BC, Cyrus the Great of Persia conquered the region and made it a part of First Persian Empire. In 327 BC, Alexander the Great invaded the kingdom of Texla, which extended from Sindh to Jhelum. Alexander's invasion was successful and he gained control over the region of Punjab. Maurya Empire. In 322 BC, when Alexander the Great left the region, the Mauryas gained control over it and laid base to the Maurya Empire. During the reign of Maurya Empire, Buddhism was introduced in the region. Kushan Empire. In 60 CE, Kushan Empire started to dominate the region and the city of Peshawar served as the capital for the western portion of the empire. Around 375 CE, Kushan Empire was overthrown by Gupta Empire from east and Sassanians from the west. After the Kushan Empire, the Gupta Empire started to conquer the region in 320 CE. At its zenith, it consisted much of the subcontinent. When the Huns invaded the empire in 50 CE, it disintegrated into small kingdoms. Arrival of Muhammad bin Qasim in Sindh. In 712 CE, Muhammad bin Qasim, an Umayyad general, arrived in Sindh, conquered the region from Sindh to Multan and made it a part of Umayyad Caliphate. In 715 CE, Muhammad bin Qasim was called back from Sindh and was murdered. Muhammad bin Qasim was the first Muslim to successfully conquer the subcontinent, and Islam was introduced in the region as state religion by Muhammad bin Qasim for the first time. Mahmud of GHAZNI. In 1001 CE, Mahmud of GHAZNI started conquering the region. He led 17 successful invasions on India. After the conquest of Multan and Lahore, he made Punjab a part of his empire. Mahmud of GHAZNI died in 1030 CE. SHAHAB-UD-DIN GHORI. In 1186 CE, SHAHAB-UD-DIN GHORI ended the Ghaznavid Empire and established his dynastic rule in the region. Sultan SHAHAB-UD-DIN GHORI was assassinated in 1206 CE. Since Sultan had no children to succeed him as ruler, so his empire was divided among his Turkish generals, and Qutb-ud-Din Aibak became the Sultan of Delhi. Delhi Sultanate was actually comprised of 5 unrelated dynasties: Mamluk, Khilji, Tughlaq, Sayyid and Lodi dynasty. Delhi Sultanate lasted from 1206 CE to 1526 CE. All these dynasties were comprised of Muslim rulers. Mughal Empire. Delhi Sultanate was dissolved when Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur arrived and defeated Ibrahim Lodi and ended Lodi dynasty. Babur forged an empire out of Delhi Sultanate which lasted until 1857 CE. Arrival of Europeans in India. The quest for wealth and power brought Europeans to the Indian shores in 1498 CE when Vasco da Gama arrived in Calicut. Soon after that, Europeans started conducting trade in India. Traders became conquerors. Seeing the weak political structure and local rulers fight each other, British East India Company started to take interest in conquering and ruling the region. Battle of Plassey, 1757. Battle of Plassey was fought between Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla of Bengal and British East India Company. Numerous wars were fought between British and natives of subcontinent. By 1850, British East India Company had occupied the entire subcontinent and the local rulers were alienated, natives were stripped of their basic rights and heavy taxes were imposed. These social and economic reforms led to the Indian War of Independence of 1857. This was a major war but an unsuccessful struggle which caused the ruling East India Company a heavy loss, and the Royal British Crown stepped in and took over the authority of the region. Aftermath of War of Independence of 1857, British rule over the subcontinent started and the entire blame of War of Independence was laid upon the Muslim community of the region. which earned Muslims the enmity of British, and Muslims were treated as the inferior class of the society. 1885, A.O. Hume founded Indian National Congress so that the natives of subcontinent could have a political platform from which they can demand their basic rights from their British rulers. Congress was meant to be a representative of all the natives of the subcontinent. Instead, Congress proved to be the representative of the Hindus of the subcontinents only. In 1906 CE, All India Muslim League was founded by Nawab Khwaja Salimullah to represent the Muslims of the subcontinent. In 1913, Muhammad Ali Jinnah was given the title of Ambassador of Hindu-Muslim Unity for his struggle to unite Hindus and Muslims of the subcontinent. But in 1916, Muhammad Ali Jinnah quit Congress and joined Muslim League as president. From here on, Muhammad Ali Jinnah worked only for the betterment of Muslims of the subcontinent. War of Independence of 1857 marked the beginning of independence movement, which was followed by other movements like civil disobedience movement, revolutionary movement in India, and many others. Mainly, Mahatma Gandhi led the people of subcontinent against the British in these passive-aggressive movements. World War I and World War II played significant role in weakening the British Empire. Politicians like Mahatma Gandhi exploited the weakness of British and ultimately forced them to leave India. In 1947, British decided to leave India, but before doing so, British divided it into two separate states, Pakistan and India. When British arrived here, it disposed Mughals and subjugated the entire region. They got rid of all the rulers who could rule in the absence of British. Now, when they were about to leave, there was no dynasty or emperor to fill the vacuum of power left behind, and these people who belonged from diverse backgrounds had no one who could force them to live under one rule. So they had to be separated. Otherwise, they would have massacred each other. And from this partition, Pakistan came into being on August 14, 1947.